So I wanted to put together this quick video for you guys, answering some of the questions that you guys have had recently. A couple of the ones that I've seen a lot. Number one, how to get some of these old school uniforms, like the Miami Hurricanes, like the stripe across the front of the jersey there. Another one that I've been seeing quite a bit is the Smoky Mountains in the background of the Tennessee, like what method that they use to get that, or what method we could use to get it in the TeamBuilder. I'll be showing you guys that as well. And then the other thing I want to show you guys is how you can actually get this Warhawks concept that I brought into Madden, but you can also bring it into into CFB 25 as well. I'll show you exactly how you can use the pen tool just by using this reference image and making this exact helmet. And I'm just going to show you guys a technique of where you can just take reference images. I'm going to do this on the fly for you guys right in the video as well, so you can see the method that I use to do it. Take reference images and make something cool out of it just by something you find on Google Images or Pinterest or whatever website you might be using to search your images, wherever you find it. Use the stuff that you find if you're allowed to. So for starters, I'm going to show you guys how to do the 2001 early 2000s Miami Hurricanes stripe that are on their jersey here. And I encourage you guys, man, go online and get reference images. That is what I really want this video to mainly, point out to you guys, is that when you get reference images, and I'm going to show you more examples of this, it is going to help you be more creative. You don't have to sit there and be like, if I didn't make this myself, then I'm not a creative person. No, you are. If you can go on and use reference images or use inspiration, do it. Because I'm telling you right now, all artists from the top to the bottom get inspiration from somewhere, no matter where it comes from. Even the smallest things to the largest things, like a straight up reference like we're using here. Anything can be considered inspiration, and that's what I want to show you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you more about how to master this pen tool. I'm going to zoom in on this image here, and I've got two reference images. And the reason I got two was because I can see how to make it by this, but I couldn't tell if it looped around and went straightened out down here. Now I can see by this one that it doesn't do that. It actually just loops, right? So we know that we can actually just use the pen tool, and actually we can start, making our stripe right over top of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make the stripe go straight across about about the length that I think it should be. And of course, we can change it in TeamBuilder, but I'm going to make it go, about the curve that it has. I'm going to try to get it as accurate as possible, and then we're going to come down with it the way that it should be. And then now for this part, we just want a slight curve here. And then what I'm going to do is once I've got this slight curve in place, I'll angle it down a little bit like that, since that's how it should be. Once I've got that slight curve in place, I'll remove my reference images, and then I'll just go straight across about halfway, right? Because now what I want to do is I want to add a stroke to this. We'll just use a black stroke for now. I'm going to add a stroke to this, and I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. All right, boom. I think that is actually perfect right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the move tool, which actually, kind of doubles as a selection tool. I'm going to select the entire shape here, and then I'm going to hit Command-C, then or Control-C, and then Command-V or Control-V, and duplicate it. Now I'm going to show you how we can flip this around and combine these two shapes. So now we have this one, but we want this to actually be flipped horizontally. We want it to literally just be, flipped around so that this side is over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Edit, up in the menu bar here, where File, Edit, Image, Layer, all that. You're going to go to Edit. And again, I'm sorry, it's always cut off a little bit, but you'll see it in a second where we go down here to Transform Path. When you see Transform Path or just Transform, it might be just Transform, whether you're in Photopea or Photoshop. And you're going to have this drop-down menu over here, this sub-menu. We're going to see Flip Horizontal. If you just choose Flip Horizontal, it'll flip it for you the way we want it. If we actually go back to Transform Path and we go to Flip Vertical, it'll flip it vertically, but we don't want that, so I'll undo that. Now we've got these two shapes, and we can bring them together, and there we go. Boom. I'll bring them a little bit further together here, or closer together, and there we go. Now we can select both of these and merge them, but first, I am going to go to the pen tool, and we are going to reduce the size of this line because we don't want it to be that thick, right? We want it to be, I think 8 is about fine, and yeah, that looks about right. Now we need this part right here that actually acts as like a half fill, right? So we want this, and we're going to actually, just make that again with the pen tool. So we're going to go back to the pen tool, and we're going to be on a new layer. We're just going to go down there to the plus sign, make a new layer, and here we go. We are going to make this little half fill part, half fill looking part. Now, if you click a point on the end here, we've got a new point on the end, and if we hold shift, it'll give us a straight line. That's just a tip I've shown you guys before. And now if we come up here, right about there is where it ends. So we're going to go like this, and that is just about the curve that we want for it, right? That looks about right to me. We can even go back to the reference image, but I don't think I need to. We will hold down Option or Alt on the keyboard. Whoops. Option or Alt on the keyboard to click this point right here so that we don't have the curve. We just want it to be straight at the end. We're going to come down here and click this, and then we're going to drag so that we get the exact same curve as we have, you know, to follow that original line. Now, as far as the fill, we'll go back to our reference image, and you know what, we still have, we unhid our reference image here, but we still have the shape selected, right? So what we're gonna do is we are going to, now with the shape selected, we're gonna come up here to fill, and then we're gonna go to our color picker right here. Click on the color picker. We can even move this out of the way. Now we've got this little, you know, all you got to do is click the color picker and you'll get this eyedropper. Just in case you guys were ever confused about that in the past, you will get this little eyedropper just by clicking the color picker. Now we can pick a green, you know, that we think is good, and we can even adjust it over here if we think it's too dark. I think that is not too dark though. I think that's fine. Honestly, it might even be a little bit too light, to be honest with you. But we're not going to worry about that. We're going to just make it what we think it should be, and then we're going to make the line white, the original line white. But first, as I mentioned before, what we're going to do is we are going to rasterize the first two shapes, which are the lines that we created here. We're going to just hold shift, select them both, and rasterize them. And the reason for that is because I'll show you why. I'll undo that, right? If I was to merge these shapes, it's going to do a weird thing because it's going to think that they need to be closed in order to be merged, right? And we have lines that are not closed here. So we don't want that. We just want to rasterize these by right-clicking, clicking rasterize, and then boom. Now we can actually go to merge layers, and then it won't do that now. So now we've got this shape that we created here, and all we got to do now is literally just Command C or Control C, then Command V or Control V, copy and paste it like that. And then we will literally do, I'll hide the reference image so it's easier to see here. We will literally do the exact same thing with this by going to Edit, then we'll go to Transform Path, Flip Horizontal, and boom, there we go. Now we've got this here, and we're gonna actually move the shape, the line shape on top, right? We want that to be on top, and then we'll just move this so that it's in place. Photoshop or Photopea should actually tell you when it's in place by giving you these pink lines right here, right? It'll tell you when it's actually lined up with the other shape, and then we just hold shift to pull it over to where, you know, roughly it should be. And then now we're gonna go to this line shape. We know that this is our line shape if we hide it. We're going to double click it, and we're going to go to a color overlay, and we're going to make it white. It's already white, but you could go to your color picker here in this little box and make it white if you needed to. And then we're going to duplicate it, right? So we've got the color overlay as white, and then we're going to duplicate it and just give us, you know, a little subtle green one underneath, because again, on the reference image, it does look like there's like a double line there. Let's see here. It almost looks like there's a double line, like, you know, it's two lines there. Now we have got the exact same stripe that they wear on the Miami Hurricanes uniforms in the early 2000s. What we can do, though, one little thing I wanted to show you is if we want to match these colors exactly, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that, right? So first things first, we already know that we've got our color for this if we want to match this in TeamBuilder. All we have to do is go to this eyedropper tool right here in the tools, go to this eyedropper, click the color, and then click where it actually updates the color over here in these boxes, right? Then you're going to have a hex code. Right next to this little hashtag or number symbol here, you're going to have this hex code. If you just copy it or memorize it, you can memorize it too, but Command or Control C, and then we've got that copied. Now, if we actually go over back to TeamBuilder, if we wanted to make this jersey that color, we hit the plus, and then we go down here to hex, Command or Control V, and boom, there we go. Now we've got that same green, but we want to make the orange, so let's go ahead and go to Photoshop and grab the orange and see what the hex code for that is. So that looks about right. I think it might be even a little bit more saturated than that, but you know, we can work with this. So that is the hex code we want right there, C94D22. We're going to hit Command or Control C. Boom, hit OK, because we don't need this anymore. We'll minimize this. And that is the color we're going to want to use. And we can always adjust it in TeamBuilder if we want to. But I think that that's the color we'll use. We might even maybe turn the brightness down slightly on that. But yeah, like I said, once you've got it in TeamBuilder, you can adjust it using these sliders and, you know, get it to exactly where you want it. But this hex code will just give you a base for what you want, and you hit apply, and boom, now it's saved to your colors. Now, we are going to have to break this into a couple of different layers here because, as you guys know, part of this goes on the sleeve, and the sleeves are separate in TeamBuilder. So all we are going to have to do is we're going to select this shape layer that we have here. We are going to use our rectangular marquee tool, and we are going to drag out over the parts that don't need to be on the sleeves, right? So this part right here can be in the middle. We'll select this, and then once we've got it selected, Command or Control C, Command or Control V, copy and paste it, and boom, now we've got that on a separate layer. We'll move that up here, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this part on both sides, and then we will just line it up. Like I said, you'll know you have it lined up when you got that pink line. Have that, this part selected. Make sure you got shape 2 over here selected. It's just the, the entire shape. Command or Control C, Command or Control V. Now we've got that part copied and pasted. Now we made 3 different layers in Photoshop, but we only need 2 of them, right? Because we don't need this one over here. We can actually just duplicate it in TeamBuilder and put it on the other sleeve. So we only need 2 logo spots for this to accomplish this. So what we'll do is we'll hide this, and we'll export this one first, and then we'll do the same thing for the stripe. It's on its own little layer here, and it's nice and isolated. Now we'll just go to export as, and we will export the stripe as well. So now we brought our 2 images into TeamBuilder, and we can start making this. We're gonna use the stripe first. We can even scale these these axes independently here, so I think I will do that, and then just get it to a point where it looks like it's lining up with the sleeve, to the point where it'll it'll look right. I'm gonna probably just follow this stitching to the best of my ability here. So now we'll select the sleeve portion. We'll click right sleeve over here, so we've got it on the right sleeve, and then we will go ahead and move it over a little bit. We're gonna scale it up, of course. First we want to make sure that it's up to scale, and then we will move it and put it in place. And again, this is just going to be your preference at this point, how large or small you want it to be. We'll go ahead and move it down here so that we can line it up. So boom, there we go. Now we've got it on the front part. Now I'm going to show you how you can actually make it look like it's coming across the back. So we add another layer, add another one to the right sleeve, and then we're just going to flip this one horizontally by clicking this H flip right here. And boom, there we go. Now we've got it on both sleeves, and we've got the stripe across the front. So one quick tip I wanted to give to you guys real quick, and that I realized after recording the video, is you can actually give yourself space to get the line across the back here. If you just replace the EA logo that'll be there by default on the sleeves, just replace it with your this edge of that line there, right? That part that's supposed to be on the sleeves. Replace that, and it'll duplicate on both sleeves. One will be on one side, and one will be on the back side. But you can make it look exactly the way I have it here and give yourself enough spots. This is how you can get that look if you wanted it for the early 2000s Hurricanes in CFB 25. Now we're going to drag in this Tennessee helmet. This is just a mini helmet version, but I just using it again just as a reference image, right? Because it gives me, there's some pretty good contrast on the mini helmet version. So I'm going to show you how you can get like this mountain look in the background of your helmets if you want that. And we're just going to use the pen tool and use Photoshop. It's as simple as that. So we're going to go to the pen tool, and I'm just going to start off by making like a rough image of what these mountains kind of look like on the helmet here. And you can make your own custom look if you wanted to. I'm just kind of copying this a little bit, and we're just going to go like that, and boom. So now we've got that line in place. We're going to drag it down here, and then we are going to close it up. We're just going to continue on kind of like the same path here, and then we'll just go down like this, and then we will close it up just like that. So now that we've got that, we're just going to go up here to fill with our pen tool still selected and our shape, selected, and we're just going to choose a black. We just want it to be all black. All 3 of the shapes we're going to make here are just going to be straight black, and I'm going to show you why in a second, right? So now we've got that one in place, and then we'll just, we'll make 2 more real quick here. So boom, now we've got that one, and we can even stretch it out a little bit. We'll stretch and enlarge it if we want to. And there we go. Now we've got our 3rd one. Boom, there it is, right? So we'll just make it so that it kind of matches the size of the other 2. And now we've got these layered so that the bottommost shape is on top. And I'm going to show you exactly how opacity can be your best friend in this scenario, right? So we're going to select them all with the move tool, right? Now we've got them all selected over here in the layers panel. If we go to opacity and just bump this down, you're going to see the effect that we can get here with this, right? Now for the top 2, I think somewhere around maybe like 60, 70-ish, like something like that is good. And then for the last one, we're going to want that around like 85, right? We're going to want that to be the darkest one. And I'm going to show you how this will work on any color helmet for you. Now to clean this up a bit, we want to select this topmost, layer here, and we're going to hold shift and drag it down, right? So you're gonna see here in a second, this is going to make it so that it actually looks like 3 different types of mountains, right? So then there we go. Now we've got it dragged down so that it actually is, there's not that gap in between. And then now what we're gonna do is go over, hold shift, and select all 3 of these shapes. We're going to right click and we're going to go to merge layers. Now with your shape selected, we're just going to go and select our rectangular marquee tool or rectangular selection tool. And we're just going to remove this bottom part because we don't need it. Just to clean it up a bit, select that. And then boom, backspace or delete. And there we go. Now we can actually go ahead and hide that helmet. And then we can resize this so that we can export it and then import it right into TeamBuilder. And now we got a new helmet that we're working with here. We're going to go ahead and import those, little mountains in. And now that we've got that imported, I'm going to show you guys that this will work on literally any color helmet because of the fact that we gave it the opacity. I'm going to hit cancel here. And we'll just use one of these colors that we have up here. We'll go to light blue. We'll make it shiny like the Tennessee helmet is. And then we'll go to add a custom layer. And then boom, we got our mountains here, and then there we go. And again, like I said, now we can just go ahead and scale this, and then we can move it around until it looks the way we want it to look. And now, of course, because of that opacity, it actually looks like it goes from light blue to a little bit of a darker, then dark blue, then a navy, because, again, like I said, it gives us, because of that opacity. And then now if we unlock the proportions down here, we can actually drag it out and make it, make it a little bit wider on the helmet so that it covers everything. And boom, there we go. Now we've got it in place. And, and as you can see, it would look good if you put like a custom stripe over top of it as well. But it looks just fine the way it is, to be perfectly honest with you. And this is the way, and you could do this, you can even move that darker part of the mountains up if you wanted to, so they show a little bit better. That's something that I probably would do if I was taking the time to really make this look right and make it pop. But it actually looks good just the way it is, to be honest. It really just gives it a nice little effect on your helmets if you wanted to add it. And you could even make this even more transparent so that it's even more subtle, the same way that it is on those Tennessee helmets. If you made this gray, it would still give you that subtlety that you get on those Tennessee helmets. But like I said, you could make it, I made it like 70 and 85. You could go like 50 and 65, or maybe 40 and 55 for your opacity, just so that it's really, really subtle, in Photoshop. And the best thing about this is we're going to even do that after we've already combined all these shapes. So now it says it's 100% opaque, but it's really not, because we know we added that opacity before. We could literally now reduce the opacity, and it's still going to give us that, going from darker to lighter, kind of that gradient mountain effect, right? So, there you go. So that is the method that you can use to get that kind of mountain effect, or whatever effect you want to put, whatever shapes you want to put on the side of your helmet. So I'm going to show you how I got this Washington Warhawks concept. I got it in Madden, but we're going to just do it in CFB today, because you can do it in either TeamBuilder that you want. And obviously, like I said before, we're just using this as a reference image. We are going to go to down here to layers. We're going to make a new layer. So we've got this layer right here, and we're just going to go to the pen tool, and we will make a stroke. We're just going to make a black stroke, right? We just want, we don't want to fill right now. And all we're going to do is use the pen tool and use this image to kind of just, make this shape here, this Warhawks or shark tooth shape, and the pen tool can do that for you. It is going to be, like I said, it's going to be one of your best friends in Photoshop or Photopea. And as you can see, we got this long handle down here because of, how we had to drag it out to get this curve. All you got to do, I've shown you guys this a bunch of times, just hold down Alt or Option if you're on Windows and click that, and it will get rid of, the curve for the next point that you make. So we're just going to make, this is going to be off the helmet over here. So we're just going to close the shape like this. We will go up here and we'll give this a black fill as well. And there we go. We can just hide this for now. And then we will go and make a new layer, and then we will start making these teeth. And again, we're just going to be using the pen tool to make our teeth. And now that we've got our teeth made, we can just go up here and give them a white fill, and there we go. Boom. So now we've got our top row of teeth. We're just going to now select a new layer, and we're going to do the same thing for the bottom row. We'll start over in this corner. We will go ahead and drag out, a curve so that it matches the previous shape that we made almost perfectly here. And boom, there we go. And then we will just go ahead and hold down either, Alt or Option. Click on that point right there, and then that way we can go ahead and start making these teeth. And you don't necessarily have to be able to see the teeth perfectly, through the helmet in order to make this, or you can get one that, a logo like this that's not on a helmet if you prefer. But you could just basically guess where they should be, and, again, it's going to come out the right way as long as you do this. If you put some effort into this, it will come out the right way no matter whether you can see them or not. And there we go. Now we've got our bottom teeth, so we can just go ahead now and go up to fill, and go to white again for the fill, and then we can remove the stroke for this one as well. And now we'll just click to select the top layer and then hold shift, click to select the bottom layer. We'll go over, they're both selected over here in the layers. We will go to rasterize these two layers, and then we will right click and go to merge layers so that they are both now together. So now with those merged, we'll go ahead and hide those as well so that now we can make this tongue part. And layer ordering is going to be important here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new layer, but we're going to drag it below the teeth, and you'll see exactly why. I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. And we're just going to make, a basic, tongue shape the way that it is here, because it really doesn't matter as long as we've got this straight line across here. It doesn't really matter how we make the bottom part as long as we've got like a fill, right? Because it's going to be on the bottom part. It's going to be below the teeth. So you're not even going to see this bottom part that I am, drawing out right here. You're only going to see the top portion. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. If we go up here to fill, go to our color picker, and then now we've got our eyedropper. We'll just select this red color, hit OK, and then we will go to the stroke to remove the stroke. And boom, there we go. Now, if we bring our teeth back, you can see we don't actually see the, the bottom part of that tongue layer. We only see the top part because we're hiding it underneath the teeth because we've layered it that way over here in the layers panel. Same thing goes for our black portion underneath. So now we've got all three of those made, and then what we're going to do is we're going to resize that black portion underneath a little bit so that it's not, not showing around the outsides of the teeth at all. We'll go ahead and hide this so that we can see, right? And again, like I said, yeah, you just want to resize this so that it's not showing around the outsides at all, because what we're going to do, you'll see in a second, we're going to put a stroke around these teeth. Now I'm going to show you guys a little trick. I'm going to show you guys how you can put a stroke around this, right? Around these teeth, because that's what we want. We want a black stroke around them without covering up the tongue part with the stroke as well, right? So we've got this as one shape, and now we're going to double click in the layer styles. We're going to go to stroke, and then we are going to make this black. We'll just go to the color picker, select black, and then we will reduce the size of the stroke until, yeah, that's about right there. And now we'll hit OK. And now, obviously, you can see we don't want the stroke to be covering this part of the teeth, unless you want that, but I don't want that. So I'm going to show you how to remedy that right now. All we have to do is right-click, go down here, you're going to see rasterize layer style on the right-click menu. And now all that does is it makes it so that that layer style stroke is part of the image. It's all one image now. And now we're going to take the magic wand tool. We're going to select the stroke, and we're going to put it on its own layer. So we hit Command C and then Command V to copy and paste it. Now it is on its own layer, by itself. So just the stroke. Now that we've got them on their own layer, we can delete the stroke from the teeth layer. So there we go. Now we've just got the stroke on its own layer. We can hide it and bring it back, hide it and bring it back. And now I'm going to show you exactly how to get rid of the inner part of that stroke. So we're going to make sure we've got that stroke layer selected over here in the layers panel. We're going to go to the lasso tool, and you could use the pen tool like I always say, but I'm going to use the lasso tool for this. We are just going to drag out and then cut it off right about, I think right here is good. And then right here as well. And then if we drag around this, you're going to see what we're about to do here. We've got all of that part selected. Now if we just hit delete, it deletes the stroke on the inner part, but it keeps it on the outer part. Now, again, some of these are advanced techniques, but, I mean, this is stuff, like, I've shown you guys a lot of the basics, so I want to show you guys the advanced stuff. Now we are going to go ahead and use the pen tool to get this eye over here. So now we've got our new layer over here, and we're going to draw out, you just want to draw out the white part of the eye. Just follow the white part, because I'm going to show you why. We're going to add a stroke to it later, so we're just going to drag out the white part. Of course, hold down Alt or Option here so we could get rid of, make it so that it doesn't actually drag it around. And here we go. And there we go. Now we can go up and remove the stroke from it and then just make it a white fill. And there we go. Now we've got the eye. Now we can go ahead and hide that portion of it. I'll go ahead and make the pupil part of it. And we still have our white fill for that, but we can just easily go up here to fill and make that black. So there we go. And now we've got our pupils. So now we can just actually bring them both back. Obviously, you want your pupil layer on top. Now we've got the pupil made. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hide our reference image, and we are going to select the white part of the eye, which is called shape 10 here, and we are going to add a stroke this way to it, right? We're going to add it up here. We're just going to select the black stroke, and then I'm going to show you why, because in the layer styles, it will actually give us a rounded stroke. We want a pointed stroke here, so we're going to go and increase the size of the stroke, and boom, we've got that pointed style stroke that we want. So I think for the stroke, I think 12 is just about perfect. Yeah, that looks about right to me. And yeah, we can now bring back our reference image. And yeah, there we go. Now all we have to do at this point is literally export this into TeamBuilder. And as you can see from the image up on the screen, this is about what it'll look like. I made mine a little bit of a different style, some different colors, but this is about what you'll get when you import this into TeamBuilder. And then the last thing, real quick before I get out of here, I just want to show you guys how you can actually just go into Google Images, like I was saying earlier, and just, pick out anything you find and get inspiration from it or get a cool design out of it. Let's say if I just typed in minimalist background design, there's a couple of options up here. Geometric looks actually like could be pretty cool. And again, I'm just doing this on the fly. This one's really cool right here. Like this would look cool on a helmet. This right here, if you had like a team called like the Timberwolves or something, this, I'm actually going to drag this to the desktop and show you. We're going to drag it to the desktop and then just pull it into Photoshop. And I could, this, you could change the color of this. You could make this, you could do anything with this to kind of make a really cool looking helmet. You could even desaturate it. First, of course, I'd want to rasterize the layer by right clicking it over here like we always do. Then we go up to image adjustments. And if we go to desaturate, you can see now that it's just like all gray, black and gray, grayscale, monochrome, whatever you want to call it. And, I'll undo that. But, you could do so many different things with just images that you find online, like putting this on a helmet and doing it in maybe even a subtle way. If we drop the opacity even, like that would look really cool. I'm not even kidding. Like, just try out different things. And, again, these are things that will just, it'll just expand your creativity. Not every idea is going to work, but when you find one that works, it's going to make you feel really good. So that's going to be it for this one, man. I hope that you guys learned something from these techniques because I just want to continue showing you guys more things that you can do, combining Photoshop or Photopea and TeamBuilder. But if you learned something today and if you liked the video, if you had a good time, leave it a like. It helps so much. And if you are rocking with me but you're not subscribed yet, consider subscribing and joining us on this journey. So much more to come, man. Thank you guys so much for all of the support lately, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. If there's anything else you want to learn or you want me to show, keep the comments coming because all of the techniques that I'm showing are based off of comments for the most part. So if there's something you guys want to see, let me know and I'll add it to the list. But as always, man, thank you guys so much. You guys are the best community in the entire world. We'll be back very soon with plenty more, and I'll catch you boys in the next one.